All right, Dad, we got Coach Johnson on the line. I'm gonna let you bring in Coach Johnson. We got one former Alabama basketball coach and one current. Dad, bring Coach Johnson in for us.
Well, I'm glad that Coach Avery, I'm just going to call him Avery. He called me Wimp, so I'll call him Avery. I'm glad that he's taken time to be on our show, and I appreciate it. He's done so much and worked so hard to try to get Alabama basketball people back into the seats. He's everywhere all the time, and I think I know I appreciate it, and I know the fans appreciate it. He's former, championship of the NBA. I'm not going to go all through his record. He's got a great record, so I'm glad to have him. I haven't visited with him a whole lot since he's been there, but I told him that I wasn't going to coach his team and I was going to leave him alone, and I've done that, but we're glad to have him. Hey, Avery, how you doing?
Hey, Wimp, how's it going?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for being on. I appreciate it.
No problem.
I want to thank you for all the hard work that you've done with not only with the students but with the public, trying to get Alabama basketball fans back in the seats.
Yeah, well, this program obviously has a lot of history. You did a phenomenal job when you were the head coach here, and your name just resonates throughout the community. Everywhere I go, everybody wants to know how Wimp is doing. And I really appreciate you welcoming me and my family to the community, to the university. It really means a lot, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next week at our Letterman event, where we're bringing back
I'll be
close
there.
to 80 Letterman from Alabama men's basketball. But it's been a lot of hard work. We've had a lot of different areas that we've had to address with the program, and it's no bad reflection on nobody who's been here in the past. We're just moving forward. I have a certain vision for the program. I have a experience, obviously, at coaching at the NBA level, but basketball is basketball. And, we put together, we think, a solid coaching staff. We've addressed our some needs that we have at Coleman Coliseum in terms of remodeling and moving students around in the building, and, even all the way down to getting a better pep band. So we feel we've addressed a lot of different areas, even the way we travel on the road, because if we're going to get the high-level recruit and not allow him to continually go to other schools, we got to be competitive with those schools. So it's been a lot of work, but it's been very gratifying.
Well, I think maybe, I don't know this, but I have a feeling that you're going to play fast, and I think moving the 35-second clock to 30 suits you fine. You just as soon move it down to 24, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and since I've been here, we haven't even practiced with a 30-second shot clock. We only practice with a 20-second shot clock. So, we like to play faster but smart. We don't want to, play fast and turn over the ball or take bad shots, but there's a method and a strategy to how we're playing, and we want to speed up the game a little bit. So the 30-second shot clock is an improvement. I hope eventually they get to a 24, but that's later in the future. But our guys are working hard. We're trying to improve their stamina and conditioning, both mentally and physically, and improve their decision-making so that we can consistently play at a high pace. But at the same time, we'll be ready when we need to play, when we need to slow the game down a little bit and execute our offense.
Well, one more question before Barry asks you something. I this basketball team a little bit, and I don't know, was a little bit inconsistent last year shooting the ball. And I really tried to put my finger on it and kept my mouth shut. And I really couldn't tell whether they just, it just seemed like they shot pretty good shots. They just didn't make many. Do you feel like y'all have improved some shooting the basketball?
Yeah, I think a little bit. And this is just a different era. It's just, the era where you coached in, and, when I came down I remember when I came down to work out with one of your teams, you had guys that could make shots, man. And there was just a confidence and a borderline arrogance about making shots.
Yeah,
and it's just
you're
a
exactly
different
right.
generation.
You got to have them, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And even, on the NBA level, you look at the teams like Golden State and Sacramento, and San Antonio, and, a lot of those teams that have been winning championships and been consistent, they got shooters.
Yeah.
And if you look at the guys that we have our eyes on in terms of future recruits, it's guys that can put the ball in the basket.
Yeah, I know.
So
let me tell you something. You're probably getting good shots for them, but they got to make a few.
Yeah.
They got to make a few.
Well, we talked about, Coach, we had a caller call in early and ask about Latrell Sprewell. And one of the things I remember about Latrell between his junior and senior year, he always had the speed, the athleticism, but people would play 2 or 3 feet off of him. He got in the gym in the summer between his junior and senior year. Not that he was a great shooter, but he got to where he could make the 3-point shot. Once he could do that, and you add that with the athleticism and the speed, you got a guy now that's unguardable. And I think that's part of the problem with maybe the high school basketball now. And I want you to talk about the AAU system. It's all athletes running and jumping and everybody oohing and ahhing and dunking, and you hit the nail on the head. Nobody can shoot. If you can shoot, you can play really at any level.
Absolutely, Barry. And, on the AAU level now, it's basically, style over substance. Everybody wants to make the athletic play and dunk the basketball, and everybody, just running up and down the floor, no discipline really on defense. And it carries over into the college game. So now when, as a college coach, when you get these kids, it takes a lot of discipline and repetition to try to get them to a point where they can understand the substance of the game and the fundamentals of the game. And then a lot of kids, when they go to college, they really have unfundamentally sound jump shots that you have to repair. So, we see a lot of that, but at the same time, our kids, they're very coachable. They work hard. They try hard. And we've gotten better. But, we're not anywhere near the top or the middle of the SEC because we lost 3 of our leading scorers, 2 guys that graduated and 1 that transferred, and we replaced them with young, inexperienced players. So, again, we have a plan on trying to get this program back to a level where Wimp had them and hopefully even try to take them a step further, but it's not going to happen overnight. We have to install our system and program. We got to get to play some games. I got to coach these kids in some games, and then we'll evaluate after the season on where we are. But I know exactly what we need, where we're going, and we'll get there. It's just not going to happen in 1 month or 1 week.
Well, one thing you're going to find out, and I appreciate what you've done as far as getting out in the community. I mean, there's like 6 Avery Johnsons. Every time I look up, you're at the fight, you're at the football game, you're at the softball game. You're everywhere, and I think you're going to find out. You don't know 100% yet, but you got a great basketball fan base here. They just wanted to be able to kind of touch the coach and find him. And hey, Coach. My dad thought that plaid jacket, he thought it actually looked good. He didn't do it for publicity. He thought it looked good, but then he fell into the plaid thing. He thought it looked good. Talk to me about, did you fall into the buckle up slogan? I know when you got off the plane, you told everybody to buckle up. Was that something just happened, or was that a planned deal there to kind of get that slogan out? Because everybody now, when you say buckle up, you think about Alabama basketball.
That was not planned. I was just excited. I got off the plane, and, everybody wanted me to say Roll Tide, which I never get tired of saying. And I just threw it out there, and just was something off the cuff. And it just went viral and took off. But I will say this, Barry, when I wore my plaid jacket on ESPN a couple of times in honor of Wimp, I'm going to surprise Wimp one game, and I'm going to wear it this year. I'm going to wear it.
You don't need to do that. Let me tell you, I'm I haven't bothered. If I can help you in any way, but just you and I sitting down talking, we'll do it sometime. But I don't. The past is the past, and you can make this basketball program very, very good. And I'm for you. I'm certainly not jealous of anything. I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad you're doing well. And all the thing I want to say to you is, I'm open for you if for some reason you need me.
I really appreciate that, Coach.
That's
that
all
really
in the
means
world.
a lot.
We just sit down and drink a cup of coffee and talk about how to recruit some little booger bear down in South Alabama or something like that. 'Cause I recruited a bunch of those little booger bears for a long, long time. I got some and lost some. And that recruiting is a hard job. And when you go against other schools in this state, as old boy said, it ain't easy.
No, it's not. And but we feel we're up for the challenge, and we have a lot to offer. One of the things, Wimp, as you know, and Barry, you know this, we gotta. I tell my assistant coaches all the time, we gotta get the kids on campus, because a lot of the kids just don't know. Just like me, 6, 7, 8 months ago, I never thought I was going to be coaching Alabama. My mind was on something else, but when I got here and saw just the campus and understand the history of the basketball program, and if we can get kids on the campus and tell that story and show them where we're going, we feel we may lose some, but we'll get a few also.
Well, Coach, you guys got a big event. I know they started pushing it out on October the 27th. Kind of tell the fan base kind of what's going on there and what time it starts and everything about that event.
Well, again, we're in this era now where, midnight basketball, the celebration of the basketball team with the student body is a very popular event all around the country. So we have our first run at it with our tip-off event, which is a version of midnight basketball, October 27 at 7 o'clock. It's a private event for our students, season ticket holders, tip-off club members, etc. But you have to be connected to Alabama in that way, and obviously you and Wimp are invited. So it's going to be a powerful event for our men's and women's basketball team, and both of the teams